This is a tale of time, space, place, history, tradition and culture, and ultimately rebirth. A rebirth that began here in India's oldest dockyards when an architect met a banyan tree.
The banyan tree has been a symbol in this country for 2,500 years. The symbol of enlightenment of Gautam Buddha under this tree. I first had an opportunity to see this place by sheer accident. It's a beautiful space, and I wondered for what. I was quite sort of mesmerized by what was happening here. It is there's this idea first came up that our city, which is starved of cultural spaces, spaces open to the public, civic spaces. So we thought, as far as we architects and designers are concerned, we don't have a home in this city. So that's how the first idea, that let's create a place where creative people can get together, exchange ideas, collaborate. It also could be a platform for younger people and their works to be showcased.
It was a fully functioning ice factory, 150 years old, which is where they manufactured the block ice. There are these giant cavities in the floor, and the gantries used to move blocks into it in these giant freezing coils. They had the cubing section, they had the cold storage section, they had spaces where they were storing the transformers and the generator sets. So I think even the nomenclature of space, the ice factory, the substation, etc., has all kind of derived from the utilitarian heritage of the space.
Where you're sitting right now was actually where 40 laborers were living.
Living?
There was no roof here. There was a banyan tree, there was a little shed there.
Yeah.
And the people working in the ice factory were living here.
Yeah.
So it was a slum. So this had no roofing. That was the ice factory. This was open.
So trying to dialogue with history, repurpose it, converse with it, bring it back into circulation, into the imagination of people, into the physical space of people, I think is fundamental to why we undertook this in the first place. Either we put history on a pedestal, you know, with a major monument or the Taj Mahal, or we crush it underfoot.
Right.
Right? That equitable dialogue with history is a forgotten art, but I do see it kind of resurfacing, and that's what this space is about. The fact that we have such a large amount of industrial heritage and these large spaces and these warehouses, and you look at it globally, and they're the most beautiful spaces because that linked to history is what really gives the spaces layering and that richness.
And they were actually making blocks of ice, lifting the ice up, and then moving it down with the gantry into the cold storages. At that particular moment, the light was coming in, hitting the ice and partly refracting. So that was the first reaction to a space which was responding to natural light. And as I moved through the space and I went a little further into the courtyard, I saw the banyan tree.
Part of being an architect, right? Perhaps the best question to ask is to be silent and listen, right? So I think we generally tend to walk into a space, and I think when you're able to bring that inner silence, you will start to sense the natural orders and vibrations of a space, and then you start to listen to. Otherwise, it's all a question of being deterministic and prescriptive and forcing an agenda or a manifesto. In a way, this is in itself a topographical response. That's what I would say. So sometimes the land would talk to us, but this for us is also an open land in a way. It's just a different context.
You've had an incredibly successful career as an architect. You have one of India's most well-known, well-respected architectural practices for all sorts of reasons. Won awards all over the place. So this, to me, at this stage of your career, also feels a bit like maybe there's a bit of legacy in this, a bit of giving back.
More than legacy.
Yeah?
giving back.
It sounds to me like there wasn't even a choice. There was no moment where you thought, let's just knock this down and start over.
One, you cannot. It comes under heritage,
Okay.
which is wonderful.
Right.
Otherwise, people would have put a wrecking ball through it and put up a 20-story building. It was restoration, which was not easy. The structure wasn't in very good condition.
So we actually had two structural engineers working on the project, one for the retrofits and one for the new builds. Right, so detaching structures from the walls, repurposing the foundations, building new foundations, stabilizing walls, regrouting them, resupporting roofs, and all of this keeping in mind that there is a broader vision and relationship with history. You don't want to get too invasive, nor do you want to be too enthralled to the past.
Yes.
So you have a kind of manifesto, you have a vision, and within that you're working with these daily kind of problems and daily situations that you need to manage. Look, it's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Right, and it takes a long time, and it's painstaking, but that's the only way you can really honestly start to respond to the space. Otherwise, you will start to rationalize and economize and find easier ways to do it, but you won't feel that sense of layering that tends to happen, honestly, in this space. In a place like Bombay, with the pollution, with the humidity, with the monsoons, and then you're talking about the kind of thermal pressure of manufacturing and storing ice.
Yeah.
Right? And these are all natural building materials. There's no concrete or whatever in there. So it's like pulling a thread. You open up one wall, and this whole thing, no matter how it's supposed to have behaved structurally 150 years ago, it's now become this symbiotic, everything holding everything up. So you pull on one thread and everything unravels. Right? So we found that masonry walls didn't have foundations. You take 150-year-old plaster off of brick and half the brick comes off of it. Right? Wooden trusses had detached from the walls. They were hanging in space, held up by God knows what. So it's almost like it's no longer architecture, it's archaeology, it's discovery, it's forensic examination, it's almost an orthopedic procedure of insertion where you go and you start pinning, suturing, buttressing, so you even change the nomenclature and the language you use in a process like this. And everything is reflexive. You cannot map out a project like this sitting in your office and making drawings and think, okay, that's what's going to happen now and that's what's going to happen then. You're sitting here. Fortunately, we work 5 minutes away from here. So we come in here and you keep revealing and you react and you reveal and you react. So it's a very intuitive, reflexive process. And that's the back-breaking part, and that's why most sensible people don't step into spaces like this because it's back-breaking.
If you look at architecture, I think architecture is an embodiment of all the arts. Everything comes under that one word, under that one banner. We also felt that architecture, design, product design, engineering, music, dance, cinema could also be held because of the possibility and the versatility of the space.
The vision that Dad had, he envisioned it specifically for arts, architecture, and design. And yes, it has a community bent. So we have tremendous performers here as well. So these halls have been graced by incredible talent. We've hosted extremely controversial debates. We've had plays that have been banned by the government. So there's a lot that we're doing that's unorthodox and that's quite unconventional. And we also have conventional brand launches, the likes of Hermes, we've had Dior, we've had Chanel. So it's essentially been a place for dialogue, for discourse, for unlearning, for conversations surrounding sustainability, innovation. Essentially, it allows you to come in here and make of it what you will.
Did you feel like you were stepping into a new space? Because this isn't just about the building. You're inventing an entire cultural ecology here.
Can we pull it off? It would be a wonderful thing, not for us, but in a way, I think is giving back.
What's important is that this project continues to live on, right? And so what we do right now is essentially laying the foundation for creating this corpus and for creating something that is larger than all of us, right? Because at the end of the day, Bombay needs more, India needs more, the world needs more.
Tell me, does that banyan tree put a smile on your face every time you see it?
Every single time.
I bet.
That tree's been there way before us, and it's going to outlast us for many, many, many generations. So I think for us, we really know what is the protagonist of this project. I think that humility is fundamental to anything that you do over here.
I look at that banyan tree, right? And it always reminds me of why my father has done this in the first place, right? And that's what keeps me going.
I think good design should feel right when you come there. You talked about the essential, you talked about natural.
Yes.
Something should feel that it belongs and it isn't enforced.
Yeah.
And I think even at an intellectual level, it has to be rational and make sense.
This idea that we should be able to retain, reuse, repurpose. There's an awareness now
Yes.
that we can do something with these spaces.
Yeah.
And even though they may appear derelict, but there is so much you can transform.
Clearly. On a tiny site in Samarang, in a car park, sandwiched between a busy main road and a canal, is the last place you'd think to find a library, especially one that's making design headlines from around the world. But if using good design to raise the literacy rate of the community is your aim, then you've got to be in the community. So, what might that look like?
If you say library in our mind, the context is just books, table and chair to read. But in here, in the micro-library, what Akayu itself, there's a net, there's a swing, and then also a very unique design. At first time, they just want to see the design, they just want to see the architecture. But when they go upstairs at the library, they find books, and then they start looking around, they start taking one book, and then they just start to read.
Is it changing the community around you?
Yes, because many children, they want to come and just want to read books, even though I do not say they read like for an hour or 2 hours, probably just like 5-10 minutes, but they read, they start to love and they start to enjoy reading.
Yeah.
That's our goal. So race literacy starts from the young, so we want children just to love reading without feeling forced to.
Yeah.
Behind the micro-library, there's a village in there. It's a youth village. It's called Kampung Pelangi. So in Indonesia, kampung means village and pelangi is a rainbow. So we can call it Rainbow Village, I guess. So we want to attract the children in the village to come over to the micro-library because one of the goals of micro-library is to start and raise literacy starts from the young. So we want children to just love reading and read books without the feeling forced to. A library should be a fun place and a playful place. That's why the net and also the swing are designed in there.
I love how eco-friendly this building is and how it beautifully built. And also the architect thinking about the sustainability for this building.